Captain Elias Thorne's ship tore through Larathia's atmosphere like a dying star, alarms screaming as hull panels peeled away into the violet sky. He wrestled with dead controls, watching 3 moons rise over crystalline forests below. The impact threw him into darkness. He woke to the sound of wind chimes. No, not chimes. Laughter, musical and liquid like water over glass. Elias opened his eyes to find himself staring into the most beautiful face he'd ever seen. Princess Valoria knelt beside him, her navy blue skin shimmering with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed gently across her shoulders and down her arms. Blonde hair, bright as captured sunlight, cascaded over her shoulders in waves that seemed to move of their own accord. But it was her eyes that captured him, deep amber with flecks of silver that sparkled when she smiled. "You fell from the sky," she said in perfect, melodious English, her voice like a song he'd forgotten he knew. "The stars must have sent you to me." Elias tried to sit up, wincing. "My ship shattered across the luminous valley. You're fortunate the crystal trees cushioned your fall." Her fingers, long and elegant, with delicate membranes between them, brushed his forehead, checking for injury. Even that simple touch sent electricity through him. "I am Valoria. You're in the Royal Healing Gardens now. You're safe." "Elias," he managed, unable to look away from her. "Captain Elias Thorne. And I'm starting to think crashing here was the luckiest thing that ever happened to me." She laughed again, and the patterns on her skin brightened, swirling with colors he had no names for. "Humans are such flirts. Do all your kind speak so boldly?" "Only when we meet someone worth being bold for." He attempted his most charming smile despite the pain in his ribs. Valoria tilted her head, her blonde hair catching the light of the triple moons visible through the translucent ceiling. "You're injured, possibly concussed, stranded on an alien world, and yet you think of courtship?" "I think when I opened my eyes and saw you, I forgot I'd crashed at all. I thought maybe I died and found whatever paradise my people dream of." Elias carefully sat up, keeping his eyes locked with hers. "Tell me I'm not dreaming." She reached out and gently touched his cheek, her navy blue skin soft and warm against his. "You're very much awake, Captain. And very far from home." "I've been searching the stars my whole life," Elias said softly, covering her hand with his. "I just never knew what I was looking for until now." Valoria's luminescent patterns flared brighter, and he realized they responded to her emotions. "Careful, human. My people take words of affection very seriously." "Good," Elias whispered. "So do I." 3 months passed like a beautiful dream. Elias's ribs healed, but he found excuses to delay his departure with each passing day. The truth was simple. He was falling hopelessly in love. Valoria met him each evening in the Whispering Gardens, where flowers sang at twilight and the air glowed with floating spores that danced around them like tiny stars. She wore flowing gowns that seemed woven from liquid moonlight, accentuating her navy blue skin and the graceful curves of her alien form. "Tell me about Earth," she'd say, settling beside him on the crystal bench, close enough that their shoulders touched. "I'd rather hear about Larathia," Elias would counter, watching how her blonde hair seemed to float when she became animated. "Tell me why your skin does that." He gestured to the patterns flowing across her arms tonight. They were silver and gold, like circuitry made of light. She blushed, the patterns intensifying. "They reveal emotion. Right now, they're showing that I single quotes happy, that I enjoy your company. Just happy?" Elias leaned closer, his voice dropping. "Because mine would be showing a lot more than that if I had them. Elias ... But she was smiling, her amber eyes dancing with pleasure. He took her hand, marveling at how perfectly it fit in his despite their differences. "On Earth, when someone makes you feel the way you make me feel, we call it love." "We have a word too," Valoria whispered. "Shaleth." It means the binding of souls across impossible distances. That's exactly what this is. He raised her hand to his lips, kissing her knuckles gently. Her skin tasted like rain and starlight. I was lost in space for years, Valoria. Now I found where I belong. The princess's pattern swirled into deep crimson and gold colors he'd learned meant desire and deep affection. My people don't love casually, Elias. When we choose forever. Then I choose you. Forever. He cupped her face, his thumb tracing the elegant line of her cheekbone. Marry me. She pulled back slightly, surprise flickering across her features. You don't understand what you're asking. Human marriages and Larathian bondings are ... different. I don't care about different. Elias stood, pulling her up with him, their bodies now pressed close. I care about you. About waking up every day and seeing those incredible eyes. About spending my life learning what every color of your patterns means. About growing old under your 3 moons. Valoria's whole body seemed to glow now, pulsing with light that matched the rhythm of her breathing. There are traditions. Sacred customs that, whatever they are, I'll honor them. He pressed his forehead to hers. Breathing her in, she smelled like ozone and honey. Just say yes? Yes, she whispered against his lips. Yes, my starfallen love, yes. The wedding ceremony lasted 3 days beneath Larathia's triple moons, a spectacular fusion of human vows and alien ritual. Elias wore ceremonial robes that shimmered like his bride's skin, while Valoria was a vision in translucent veils that revealed tantalizing glimpses of her luminescent navy blue form. When the final blessing was sung and the last ritual completed, she led him through the palace to their bonding chamber. Elias's heart hammered with anticipation and nervousness. This was it, the beginning of forever with the woman he loved. The chamber took his breath away. Silk panels floated in midair without support, creating intimate alcoves filled with soft bioluminescent light. The bed itself seemed to hover, covered in petals that glowed like captured moonbeams. Gentle music emanated from the walls themselves, a melody that seemed to resonate in his very bones. Valoria turned to face him, and even through her veils, he could see her patterns blazing with colors he now recognized as love and desire. Elias, before we ... Before we begin, I must explain something about Larathian marriage customs. He stepped closer, his hands finding her waist through the gossamer fabric. Whatever it is, we'll face it together. It's about the bonding itself. Her voice trembled slightly. On my world, marriage isn't just between 2 individuals. It's a union that strengthens the entire family line. I'm not sure I understand. Elias began to lift her veil, wanting to see her face fully. She caught his hands, stopping him. My 3 sisters, Lyran, Salith, and Morvina, they are part of the ceremony. The bonding cannot be complete without them. Elias felt his stomach drop. Your sisters? Here? Now? As if summoned by her words, the chamber doors whispered open. 3 figures glided in, each as breathtaking as Valoria, identical navy blue skin, flowing blonde hair, bodies adorned in veils that left little to imagination. Their patterns glowed in shades of welcoming gold and curious violet. This is the quadrichale, Valoria explained quickly, seeing the panic in his eyes. The 4-soul bonding. My sisters will join us to witness and bless our union, to intertwine our family's essence with yours. It's the most sacred tradition of our people. The 3 sisters approached the floating bed, their movements synchronized and graceful. The tallest one, Lyran, spoke first. Human Elias, you honor us with your love for our sister. Will you honor us with your acceptance of our ways? Elias stood frozen, his mind reeling. He'd imagined this night countless times, just him and Valoria, finally alone, finally free to express the passion that had built between them over months of courtship. But this? 4 identical alien beauties, all watching him with those luminous eyes? Aye. His voice failed him. Valoria stepped closer, her hand on his chest. If you cannot accept this, I will understand. But know that refusing means our marriage cannot be blessed. We would be bonded in name only, forever incomplete. Elias's mind raced. This was Valoria, the woman he'd crossed stars to find, the being who'd made him believe in destiny. Could he really walk away now? But could he accept this reality that shattered every expectation he'd carried into this chamber? Tell me exactly what this bonding entails, he said carefully, his military training helping him focus through the shock. Salith, the sister with patterns of deep purple, moved closer. We will dance the Lumina Shale, the dance of light. Our patterns will synchronize with yours and Valoria's, creating a bond that links our families eternally. It's intimate, Morvina added, her voice like crystal bells, but not as your human minds might fear. We share energy, emotion, the essence of our souls. We will know each other completely, your hopes, dreams, fears, and love for our sister. Valoria took both his hands. They won't touch you as a lover would, Elias, but they will be close, their patterns mingling with ours. They'll feel what we feel, see what we see. It's beautiful, sacred, but I understand if it's too much. Elias looked at each sister in turn, then back to his bride. Her patterns had shifted to deep blue, the color of sadness, of impending loss. That sight broke through his confusion more than anything else could have. I need a moment, he said. Can you give me that? Valoria nodded, and the sisters gracefully retreated to the far side of the chamber, giving him space. His bride stayed close, searching his face with those incredible amber eyes. I love you, Elias said quietly. That hasn't changed. But I'm terrified, Valoria. I'm about to share the most intimate moment of my life with three people I barely know. They are me, she whispered. We share the same essence, born from the same star mother. What they witness, they keep sacred. What they feel, they use to strengthen our bond. Elias, we are asking you to trust not just me, but my entire lineage. I know it seems impossible. He thought of every moment that had led him here. The crash, the first time he saw her, stolen kisses in the gardens, whispered promises under alien stars. He thought of returning to his ship alone, leaving Lyrathia and losing her forever. On Earth, he said slowly, we have a saying. Love means accepting all of someone, not just the easy parts. Valoria's patterns began to shift toward gold. You'll do this? I'll try. He pulled her close, feeling her warmth, her realness against him. I can't promise I won't panic. I can't promise I'll understand it all. But I promise I won't run. Not from you. Not from us. She rose on her toes, pressing her lips to his in a kiss that sent shivers through his entire body. Then let us begin, my love. Let me show you how Lyrathians love. The sisters returned as Valoria took Elias's hand and led him to the floating bed. His heart pounded so hard he was certain all four of them could hear it. The petals beneath them released a subtle fragrance, something like jasmine mixed with starlight. If starlight had a scent, lie with me, Valoria whispered, reclining on the bed and pulling him down beside her. The sisters arranged themselves in a circle around them, close but not touching, their patterns already beginning to pulse in harmony. What happens now? Elias asked, his voice tight with nervousness. Now, Laren said softly, we open ourselves. You'll feel us human. Our emotions, our memories, our love for our sister. And we will feel yours. The sisters raised their hands, and their patterns exploded into brilliant light. Elias gasped as warmth flooded through him, not physical heat, but something deeper. He could feel them in his mind, their presence like gentle currents in a vast ocean dot. Then Valoria touched his face. And suddenly he understood. he felt her love for him, not as words or actions, but as pure emotion of fierce, burning devotion that had taken root the moment she found him in the crash site. He felt her joy when he smiled, her desire when he held her, her absolute certainty that he was her destiny. But more than that, he felt her sister's love for her, their protectiveness, their happiness at her happiness, their blessing on this union that had brought her such joy. They weren't intruding. They were celebrating. They were family, holding space for something sacred. "Do you see now?" Valoria whispered, her patterns synchronized with his heartbeat. "This isn't about possession. It's about belonging." Elias felt tears on his cheeks. The intimacy was overwhelming, but not in the way he'd feared. It was like being wrapped in starlight, held by an entire world that wanted nothing but his and Valoria's happiness. The sisters began to sing, or perhaps they always had been, and he could only now hear it. The melody wove through his consciousness, binding him to Valoria in ways deeper than physical touch ever could. He understood now why she'd called it sacred. "I love you," he said, and through the bond, she felt the absolute truth of it. "I love all of this. Thank you for sharing your world with me." Valoria kissed him deeply, and her sister's patterns flared in approval, in blessing, in joy. The quadrilateral continued through the night, not as he'd imagined in his panic, but as something transcendent. They talked, they laughed, they shared stories and dreams. The sisters eventually departed with gentle blessings, leaving the newlyweds alone as dawn broke over Lyrathia. Was it worth it? Valoria asked, curled against his chest, her patterns now soft gold, the color of contentment. "Every terrifying moment," Elias whispered, kissing her blonde hair. "I'd crash 1,000 ships to find you again. Then welcome home, my starfallen love. Welcome home." The end.